morning, everyone. We're glad to have you back in the pavilion today, and hopefully you spent some time last night getting to know Flagstaff a little bit. We love this place, and we hope you do as much as we do. Our session today is called Setting Up New Awards for Success. There we go. Okay. And once again, we want you to be aware of our land acknowledgement statement. I know you've seen it several times, but if you'd like to read again, we'll give you a second to do that. And as I said, our session today is setting up new awards for success. And our presenter today is Sarah Montgomery. And I will turn the time over to her. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. As she said, I'm Sarah Montgomery, and today I'm going to share some strategies for setting up your new awards for success. This presentation really centers the new post-award research administrator. I'm going to spell out acronyms and explain key terms so that nobody gets lost. Essentially, I've made the presentation that I wish I had had when I was a new post-award RA. But even if you've been in post-award for many years and you have your own process for setting up new grants, this presentation is going to provide some fresh new insights, templates, and even a few Outlook tips designed to make your job easier. If you are a seasoned post-award RA and you're watching this live, you might want to save this one to watch the recording later on. That way you can fast forward and watch the presentation at your own speed. So feel free, if you have been in post-award research administration for 5 or more years, if you want to duck out now, nobody will judge. Next, please. So you've received a new award. Congratulations. The key steps to setting up your award for success are, number 1, understand, so review all of the proposal and award docs. Number 2, inform, let your faculty member know everything they need to know in a kickoff email and/or meeting. And then number 3, plan. So take action and set reminders. Next. So understanding, you're going to create a folder for this award on your shared drive, download all of the proposal and award documents and save them in that folder. You might have naming conventions for this. Because one acronym is never enough, the award notice might also be called the Notice of Award, or NOA. The project summary could also be called the scope of work, or SOW. And the request for proposals, or RFP, could also be called the FOA, or funding opportunity announcement. But research administration uses its own language, and why have one word for something when you could have 2 or 3? Next. This award is going to be with you for several years. And of course, there will be beautiful and new things you'll learn about this award or sponsor along the way. But taking the time to really get to know this award at the onset is going to make your life so much easier. Next. First, you're going to review the award notice. And this is one time where having 2 or more monitors comes in handy. So you're going to review the award notice and compare it to your institution's system of record. At ASU, we use 2 systems, ERA, which is Enterprise Research System. That doesn't begin with an A. And it's not to be confused with NIH's ERA Commons. We use ERA for award management, and then Workday Financial, also known as the Financial Management System, or FMS, for tracking financial transactions. So at a minimum, you want to make sure that the project title, the sponsor award number, and the start and end dates and the award amounts match in all 3 places. Pay special attention to the obligated versus anticipated end date and award amounts. If you notice any discrepancies between the award notice and the systems of record, either submit an award modification or contact your grants and contracts officer or your service liaison to correct it. We're all just humans, humaning, we make mistakes. And the sooner you catch those mistakes so they can get fixed, the better off you'll be. Next, please. So the majority of the awards that I manage are federal grants. I assume a lot of you manage federal awards. On Boxing Day of 2014, the White House Office of Management and Budget, or OMB, introduced uniform guidance. And this is a standard set of conditions for federal awards. This guidance covers pre-award requests. And in this case, a pre-award refers to moving back the start date of a grant so you can spend costs before the official award date, not to be confused with pre-award research administration preparing proposals. So the guidance covers pre-awards, no cost extensions, rebudgets, equipment, and allowable costs. This establishes what costs are allowable on federal awards. If you manage federal awards, you need to become familiar with uniform guidance. Here's the handy print version that NCURA, the National College and University Research Administrators, National Council of University Research Administrators puts out. I generally use the PDF version because I can download it. I can search for text. I was flipping through my print one yesterday and noticed that my daughter has added her provisions to the guidance. Next, please. So you're going to carefully review this award notice, all of the attachments and the links that it refers to. You're going to get your highlighter out and go to town. Pop quiz. Do you know what one of the most common lies is? This is one that we all tell weekly, if not daily. It's this: I have read and agree to the terms and conditions. Nobody reads the terms and conditions for apps they download or services they use. But in this case, yes, you do have to read the terms and conditions. I'm sorry. So as you're looking through them, keep an eye out for any terms that are going to affect your work. So foreign travel limits, rebudgets, no cost extensions, and carryover. You're going to note if this award is governed by uniform guidance, look for any terms that negate it. So if the award notice is more specific, you know, if generally you're allowed a first no cost extension, but this award says no, there will be no extensions, that supersedes uniform guidance. Next. Okay, next you'll review the budget and the budget justification side by side. This is another time where having two monitors comes in handy. So the budget from the proposal and the budget justification should tell the same story. If the budget justification says the PI is going to collect 1 month of summer salary, you should see that 1 month in the budget as well. Take special note of any CAS exceptions. CAS is cost accounting standards. They come from uniform guidance as well. So these include anything like general supplies, meals, or administrative salaries, things that are usually included in the indirect costs, or IDC, or facilities and administration, F&A. But on this award, they can be charged directly because there's an unusual circumstance. Next. So you're going to compare the budget from the proposal, the award notice, and your system of record. Do they match? So if the proposal and award budgets don't match, submit an award modification or email your pre-award RA. Don't submit an award modification. If the proposal and award budgets don't match, email the pre-award RA, the person who worked on the proposal, to see if there might be a more recent budget. It's probably small text, but on this one, the salary amounts are off by $2. And that could just be a rounding issue, or there might have been a revised budget that you don't have. So if you see that the award budget and the system of record, so Workday in ASU's case, if they don't match, email your GCO or submit an award change request to fix that. So maybe the facility usage fees are budgeted as rentals instead of services, or maybe foreign travel is budgeted as domestic travel. Again, we're all just humans doing our best. Mistakes are going to get made. So if you catch one of those, the sooner you catch it and fix it, the easier your life is going to be. Next, you're going to go over the budget one more time and look for any expenses that are going to need their own account. So this would be cost share, participant support, sub-awards. Some faculty like to set up child accounts for the different co-PIs budgets, especially if they're in different departments. And if your award includes any contributed effort, which is also known as committed effort cost share, then at ASU, that means that you as the RA will need to set up a program account in Workday. If any of these accounts are missing, set them up now to avoid headache later. And I didn't put it on this slide, but confirm the F&A rate, that facilities and administration rate. On participant support accounts at ASU, that should be 0%. Especially look for MTDC versus TDC. So does the budget say you're charging 57% of modified total direct costs, meaning equipment, tuition remission, participant support, et cetera, is excluded? Or is it 57 or 10% of total direct costs? So take a good look, because that's a really easy one to mess up. And if your grants and contracts officer did set it up with the wrong, like 10% total direct costs instead of 10% modified total direct costs, then your available balance is going to be incorrect. It's going to look like you have more or less money to spend. So look for it now, fix it, save yourself heartache. Okay, next, please. The next important proposal document to review is the project summary or the scope of work. Just look for key terms and get a general idea. What is the purpose of this grant? What are they studying? How is this different from the PI's other research? That way, if you see orders on this account, if they've got one account that studies, in this case, spider silk, and another account that's studying, the DNA of human cells. If they've got a spider, an order for black widow spiders or crickets to feed the spiders, it should probably go on this account and not the human DNA account. So in this case, you're also gonna look for any other expenses that might pop up that weren't included in the budget or justification. So in this case, the scope of work mentions that they're gonna characterize spider silk using NMR and XRD techniques. So I'm going to expect to see facility usage charges in the budget. Next, please. So when you're reviewing the scope of work, you don't have to be a scientist like my 7-year-old daughter, but understanding the basics of this project is going to help you administer the award. Could you give a 1-sentence description of the goals? If not, ask the PI. They love talking about their research, even to non-scientists like us. You can even ask to tour their lab to see the equipment and the supplies in person. And that's going to help you better understand the research and build a trusting relationship with that faculty member. Next, please. So now that you understand the proposal and award, it's time to share the good news. Next, please. We're going to prepare a new award email to the principal investigator, and I recommend including your chair or director, your communications person or team, and the RA who worked on the proposal. If the PI has an assistant or co-PIs, you can consider copying them as well. You're going to attach all those proposal and award documents to this email. Next, please. So these next 3 slides has a sample new award email, and you'll also, this is going to be available in a printout, I believe. And after the presentation, I've shared a Word doc, so you can just copy and paste this if it's helpful for you. So in this template, first I give off the basic award information, like the title, start and end dates, and award amounts. Next, please. Next, I share any key terms and conditions that the PI needs to know about. Technically, it's the PI's responsibility to read and understand the whole award notice, but I'm not going to count on that. So here you're highlighting any unusual terms that you caught in that review. And sometimes in post-award, there are issues that I wish I could travel back in time to fix. like when a PI books an international flight that doesn't comply with the Fly America Act, or they publish a paper that doesn't credit the sponsor. And whenever I run into those time travel moments, I consider adding it to this new award template email. Next. Finally, I'm going to ask any key questions to get the project going, like whether anybody should be paid on the account right away, or if there are expenses that need to be transferred to the new account. I'm also going to ask the pre-award RA if there's anything that I missed. And if this is a particularly complicated award, I may ask to meet with that pre-award RA in person or over Zoom to go over sub-recipients, cost share, any other weird or particular things that came up in the proposal. Next. So I promised you some Outlook tips to make your job easier. The first one is quick parts. Quick parts are customized email templates, and I use them every darn day. So anytime you find yourself sending the same email over and over, or looking up text from a past email to copy and paste, consider making a quick part. To create a quick part, you're going to enter the text in an email or go back to a previous email and highlight it. Then you go to the Insert tab in Outlook and select Quick Parts. And you scroll to the very bottom, I've got it highlighted, and choose Save Selection to Quick Part Gallery. It'll give a little pop-up, name the quick part, and hit Enter. Next. To insert your quick part in a future email, you're going to navigate to the same quick parts email, insert quick parts, and then select the one that you want to add from the drop-down list. Next. To make it even easier, you can just start typing the name of your quick part in the body of an email, and Outlook's going to pop up with a friendly offer and say, do you want to enter this quick part? And you can say, yes. Thanks, Outlook. So I use quick parts all the time for requesting payroll redistributions, sending PIs approval instructions, sending travelers tips when I've approved their trip requests, and requesting justifications for rebudgets, no cost extensions, etc. Work smarter, not harder. And I've put together all of my quick parts in a single Word doc that's going to be available to you. You can go through it, edit, copy, and paste. Not all of them are going to apply to the way that you do your job, but I'm trying to make it easy so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Take my wheel and use it for your quick parts. Next, please. So in addition to that new award email, you might want to schedule a project kickoff meeting. This isn't always necessary, but it's helpful, especially if this is the faculty member's first award with this particular sponsor. It's the first award at this institution, or if it's a large, complicated, or unusual award. In the kickoff meetings, you want to include co-PIs, lab personnel that the PI says will be involved, research admins, and possibly any appropriate business office or HR staff. You can meet in person or over Zoom. The PI will probably take the lead, and you can help out with any administrative matters, take notes on, people to add, actions to take, etc. Next, please. So we've gotten to know the award and we've shared the good news. It's time for part 3, make a plan. Next. So first, you're going to act on any items from the kickoff meeting or new award email, like assigning personnel to be paid from this account, requesting a pre-award, or transferring expenses to the account. And next, you're going to go through anything unusual that you noted about this award, like cost share or contributed effort. And cost share could have its own series of presentations. But for now, I'll just say that if an award involves cost share, you're going to have to figure out how you're going to meet those commitments, let your PI and your GCO, your grants and contracts officer know, and set reminders to follow that plan. Cost share is the total portion of the award costs that you as the institution are going to bear instead of the sponsor. Next. So I like to think of this step as giving a gift to your future self. do not assume that you're going to remember anything about this award. This part is particularly helpful for folks with ADHD, but it applies to everyone. Make notes, set reminders. It's going to make your life easier for your future self. So, for example, if your award is budgeted for foreign travel, but that it requires sponsor approval prior to any foreign trip, make a note of that in the KE Knowledge Enterprise forecasting tool or wherever you track your accounts. Alternatively, you can note it somewhere that you'll easily reference when you're approving travel requests. Or let's say your award requires sponsor approval before going over 10% in any budget category. Note that wherever you track your accounts, and or set up quarterly reminders to check that account and see whether any budget category is close to being fully spent. Next. Here I have a tip for setting yourself reminders, and I learned this one from Vicki Krell, and it's an absolute godsend. In Outlook, you can click on an email and drag it over to the calendar icon to create a meeting. So Outlook's going to create an event that'll have the subject and body from that email. I use this all the time to set reminders to myself to follow up or to do what I said I'm going to do. Next. But wait, you say, I need my attachments. What about the attachments? Fear not, there's a better way. If you right-click on that email and drag it over to the calendar icon, you'll get a little pop-up window with the option to copy the email with attachments. So Outlook is going to create an event with your email subject, a blank body, and your original email included as an attachment. This makes it really easy to forward your email later when you follow up. So I send a PI an email saying, please approve this, and then right-click, drag it over, create a reminder in a week or two and says, hey, has the PI approved this? If not, forward this email and ask them to do it again. Next, please. So to recap, here are the key steps for success with your new award. Number one, understand. Get to know your award. Read through the award notice, scope of work, budget justification, and compare all of those with your institution's systems of record. Number two, inform with a kickoff email and or meeting. So send your PI, chair director, marketing team, and pre-award RA a new award email with all of the documents, highlighted terms and conditions, and questions to get the ball rolling. Number three, plan. Take actions, set reminders, make a plan for meeting the award terms and conditions, and give your future self gifts in the form of those notes and reminders. Next. So thank you all for attending this presentation. I hope you learned a few things that will help you work smarter, not harder, and set yourself up for success.
Thank you, Sarah, very much for that presentation. Does anyone have any questions? Back here.
Good morning. Thank you so much. And specifically, I appreciate all of the Outlook tips. Wonderful. Very, very strategic. If your Outlook has updated, it's no longer called the quick plans. They're called the My Templates, and they're right off to the side. And if anyone wants a demonstration of that, just track me down. I use them all the time. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Hi, I'm Erin from the University of Arizona. And when it comes to the award kickoff meeting, you had mentioned the PI would take the lead. And I just had a question about that, especially for junior PIs. Would our research administrator facilitate meetings for new PIs in a different way?
Yeah, absolutely. I just had one, we had two brand new PIs getting their first NSF awards. And in that case, I set up a Zoom meeting with both of them at once and walked through, the basics of basically being a PI and managing an award at ASU. And so I showed them, here's how you place orders, here's how you review your budget. These are restrictions to know, that kind of thing. So I'd say that it's more like a faculty training or onboarding process in that case when you've got your new faculty.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much, Sarah. That was a great presentation.
Thank you. Happy to share. Bye-bye.